Alright, I probably should have done the mic check before we got started, but it looks like the audio levels are good. And everything else is good. I'm just trying to organize anything I still have on my side, but I think we're good on all these fronts. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Checking, peeking. No, we're good. Yeah, normally I do that mic check before we get started with everything, but that is a-okay. Let me make sure our prediction is all set with everything. Yeah, okay. One thing I do want to slightly change is not that, it's that. Okay. Alright, cool. Yeah, we should be good to go. We'll put a prediction up in like 10, 15 minutes, but I think everything else is set the way it needs to be. Alright, a lot of cool things have happened to make this PvP match work. I remember, quick TLDR of everything, OFCRA tried to do a Stalker PvP run, I think 3 weeks ago, and it kind of blew away because there were some issues with the current profiling build for Arma 3. So apparently it got all the way up to Deadman Miller, who then basically did a hot fix for the profiling build itself to make this work, which is good news to me because we also are going to be working on a bunch of Stalker stuff. That started last week, if I recall correctly. It's going to be another mission tomorrow morning, and then a final mission on Tuesday. Thank you, honey. She got me a Pip-Boy for my birthday, and I didn't know it came with a stand, so she just put it on this stand. Was our anniversary? God, you're right. It has been that long. I've completely lost track of time. Crap. But anyway, Blue 4 is going to be Freedom, Op 4 is going to be Monolith, map is on Corsac. I will do a breakdown in a little bit. Otherwise, other operations today, we do have POG later tonight. There will be no pay-for-pain elements. They have voted, it was near unanimous to wipe them. I think at least over 90%, so we'll see how that goes with the campaign. Then I am definitely doing a dev stream or two later because we have so much stuff we have to do. But otherwise, going to be playing some ambient music in the background. Valkyrie's here. Valkyrie in the background is working on, right now, one thing, but I'm going to give Valkyrie probably like 2 other things to do. Valkyrie, you're going to be busy for the next few days. But we'll see how OFCRA runs this Stalker mission. We've got about 105 or so people on the TeamSpeak right now, 106 now. So this is going to be about a 100-player match. There's the updated number. I think they're just bringing people in. We'll see how all of this goes. Regardless, it's going to be Monolith versus Freedom, and I can't wait to see it, because tomorrow for our PvE match is going to be Monolith versus everybody, and I'll be building that late tonight, so we'll see how all that goes. I'm just kind of excited. Again, this is nerdy for me. I'm probably the only person that cares about this, but this had to go all the way up to Deadman to get fixed. And they had to literally fix Arma 3 to make it work, but here we are, and that's good news again, because we got a bunch of Stalker missions that we gotta go for. But that's just one of very, very many projects that we are working on. A few other things you're gonna see. Number one, that big ass giant 40K Death Spire. You're gonna see that on Saturday. Because we've had that in our pocket for about a month and a half, and we're finally getting the time slot to work with it. And then there's a giant Mass Effect campaign coming, because the whole community schismed over one of the dumbest things I've seen in a hot second. But, yeah, that's the TLDR. It's gonna help tie into the 5th community I've ever killed. So, you know, fun fact. But we'll see how this one goes. Yes, the Dread Spire, exactly. Valk is working on a few polishing details inside of it. Then I'm going to do some custom garrisoning in it. I might as well stream that too when it's done. But after Valk finishes that, I'm going to have Valk work on an Imperial Palace and a bunch of small positions. That'll probably take her 2 or 3 days. And then she's going to be working on a giant Mass Effect campaign for me. And yeah, we're just going to be crazy with everything. Great, Valk. That means by tonight I can... I mean, I already told you got to work on the Imperial Palace, but yeah, we got plenty to work with here. All right, that was the sound of TeamSpeak firing. By the way, at the end of this stream, I'm probably gonna play the Stillwater ad because it makes me chuckle. But if you want to see that again, feel free. Stillwater, if you're new to it, by the way, they're on a bye week this weekend because they're switching to a new contract. So we got paid out, and between every contracts, we have the week off. And I'm going to be busy at a church for Greek Easter, so I'm not even going to be there anyway. Regardless, let's start focusing on the mission here. And I'll go ahead and put up the prediction for you. Who will win this OFCRA match? Blue 4 is Freedom. And Op 4, you'll love to see him, Monolith. I'm going to put it up for, we'll do 20 minutes. And if you want to follow along with this area here, you can type the exclamation point mission command as I give the breakdown. Otherwise, how things are going to be going here is there is a common objective here to control the Bloodsucker Village. That is the purple zone right here, so we'll see that. Give me 1 second here, though. I need to turn off my TFAR plugin, otherwise we're going to hear everybody. But anyway, with that in play, Blue 4 have to assassinate a Preacher, which is the Monolith faction leader. They are inside Site X, which is over here. And they have to do that within the 45-minute mark. They also have to get their commander inside of the Vega 7 bunker by the hour mark. That is worth 1 point. And then, again, this is for Blue 4, so this is Freedom's goals. My bad if I misspoke. And then Blue 4 has to prevent psi emitters being activated from Station Alpha and Station Bravo, which are those two radio positions. Otherwise, for Op 4, they have to assassinate a Freedom faction leader at Anomaly Site Y, which is right here by the 45-minute mark. That's worth 2 points. They have to get their commander inside of Raiden 3. That is worth 1 point. That's done by the 60-minute mark. And then they have to activate the psi emitters, which are at Alpha and Bravo. Alpha by the 60-minute mark, Bravo by the 70-minute mark. Those are both worth 2 points. So in total, one side can get, let's see, 10 points total. So we'll see if there's any early leaders here. Looks like Op 4 is going to be starting at the farmstead up here. Blue 4 are going to be starting at the Army warehouse down there. So I think they've got a majority of the locations pulled directly from Stalker, just built onto this map. I really hope it's stable. But I will be honest, Stalker is probably one of the buggiest, heavily scripted things in Arma 3, which is why it's so buggy. So we'll just have to see how everything plays out. So we'll see if they're rocking any vehicles, what equipment they're running, if there's any Gauss rifles out there. I hope there are, but that thing is also OP as hell. It's a Gauss rifle, for Christ's sake, so we'll probably not see that. But, hey, we'll see how things go. And Ian, I do agree, as the test stop, it did run well for us. We still had a few crashes here and there, and PvP and PvE are two separate beasts within Arma 3, so we just gotta go with what we got. But anyway, hope everyone's Thursday is going A-okay. And we'll have plenty of stuff to do, so we'll see how things go. Zeus going to church? Ah. Yeah, there's no more Zeus, though. It's only Orthodoxy. Cute joke, though. I'll give you that one. Ah, man. I'm a little wired today. There's plenty to do, but I've got a great team of people. I got Valkyrie helping me with mission dev. I've got Ian helping me with server dev. I'm just waiting for the next thing to break on that server and something's gonna turn into French or something. But it's okay, we're all good. No, Ian, nothing's broken. Nothing's broken. Ian, I gotta be very specific with Ian. Ian, it's okay, buddy. I'm just making a joke. It's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry. But yeah, server should finally be configured properly with custom difficulty, and we shouldn't have any issues with anything because we did the second op. I used Host Havoc as a backup, but that server is super duper laggy right now. Not laggy, actually. It's very desync heavy. But no, our primary server is, I would say, at least 3 to 5 times as powerful as the Havoc server, which I think is really... Here's how I would word it. So, Host Havoc is a company. They rent out virtual space, and you can turn some of that virtual space into an Arma server. The difference in the servers right now is, instead of putting, 20 to 50 people on that virtual space and us all vying for resources, where I think, which is where I think that source of desync comes in from. We're on a box that just has way too much going on, so it's not able to process, you know, what we want on the Arma server at a reasonable fashion, which is why we have those nasty desync spikes on it. Meanwhile, Ian, his box, which it's not technically his, it's his buddy's, but they only have, like, a few things running on it at any given time, so we have much more of the server's resources, or at least that virtual spaces, to process Arma, which is why when we go in, the frame rate's really good. And the AI isn't bottlenecked, because a good server will get you good frames up to a certain point because of how things are running. It's not a tell-all, though. Usually that's up to your client side, but there is a difference in hardware there. Okay, so it's technically Ian's because he pays for it. Because, as we all know, whoever actually pays for the service is the one that owns it proper. Anyway, let me get you guys a final number count here. We have about 112 stalkers on the server. This should be a very fun fight, and I can't wait to see if this will be stable or not. Paid servers confuse me. I'm going to be honest, I don't pay for the Havoc server. I've never paid for the Havoc server. It was literally just a brand deal of I advertise Havoc servers in exchange for getting a free one. We used to, like, back when we ran TSB, we used to have a second server that was paid for, but that was all handled by Auntie. And then in exchange, I gave Auntie all of my commission fees from the server box. Auntie drops in, I want to say, once every 1 or 2 months, and we get to say hello, but she's told me recently that she's been, like, heavy on Arma Reforger. I have a feeling in 2 years when Arma 4 comes back, we are going to have a lot of the old guard at least cycle back to play a bit, which is why as soon as I get information on Arma 4, one, if that does happen before any release date, I'm going to be NDA'd, and they're probably going to say, hey, Liru, keep that fucking mouth shut this time. So I won't be able to tell you anything, but it means that as soon as we go live, I'm going to be dropping tutorials on their Eden editor on how to do things, Zeusing tutorials on how to do things. I'm literally just going to go full throttle into it. We're just going to be waiting for mods to basically get ported over, which can take up to, I'm going to be honest, a year. We saw that with Reforger. It took at least a year for a lot of decent mods to get ported, but I think with Reforger, it's going to probably be a similar timeline. It depends if they are running a new version of Infusion Engine, or if they're running another engine, which I've only heard rumors about that are unsubstantiated, so we'll see. We will see. There has to be a lot of setup time. Usually the missions get pushed through. We're actually past the 3:30 mark. Usually they get started earlier, so we'll just have to see how this goes. But thank you for chilling with me, guys. I just want to see this work because this will be good news for not only the mission I'm running tomorrow, but the other mission I'm running on Tuesday. I just realized I might actually be running 2 missions on Tuesday, which is significant because Tuesday is usually my off day where I take a break from all of you. But I guess not. Here we are. Well, so you have to also understand this. Oh, shit, here we go. The last thought I will say is back when CDLCs were coming out, there were a lot of major mod developers that were NDA'd. Icebreaker, for example, he helped with the SOG Prairie Fire map, and I think he helped with a few other CDLC maps, so he was definitely NDA'd. And you have to also realize that a lot of those CDLC teams were major mod groups, so Bohemia has done stuff like that in the past, but, you know, we'll just have to see if they continue. Anyway, looks like we're going to have some heavy vehicles here. So, Freedom, starting with them, we do have an open BRDM here with a PKT on top, a bunch of UAZ transports, a BTR, I think that's an 80, it might be a 70. They got some music playing over here. I gotta hope it's not copyrighted, but, you know, might as well come in and cover it. So they definitely designed that up a little bit. But otherwise, it's mainly transports and UAZs. Looking at our standard group of Freedom here, we've got an HK-416 PKM and then some AK-74s, G36s as well, and then a G36 with the underslung grenade launcher. Trying to see if there's anything different. I mean, we've got vests. We got some SIVA gear. I don't think they'll be rocking any radiation scripts or anything heavy. We will see some of that tomorrow, but we definitely see a good mix of STALKER gear here. What's also important about this test run is it's using a lot of the mods I will be using for tomorrow that I've already used in the previous STALKER mission and other things. We also got some RPGs in play. Nice. I don't see any exosuits, but that's okay. Is that going to explode? Well, that answers that question. Wait, whoa. Oh, shit, they do have exosuits! So you got a suppressed MP7, a suppressed HK416 with SU-230 scope. Oh, shit. All right, so we do have some heavy hitter teams here. I'm wondering, are these guys assigned to their own group? Let me check the roster. The Loki squad. Okay. And then they got platoon groups. So basically both sides do have a heavy hitter team of special forces, which is nice to see. Wow, they even got C-Mags on there. All right, it's going to be interesting to see those groups duke it out. But go ahead and looking over at Op4, let's see what Monolith have. Monolith have their own BTR. And they've got their own... That's actually pretty dope. Okay, no, that is really, really dope. So they got their own hazmat teams as well. We got some AS Vals in play. Let's go ahead and look at their weaponry. We got some VHSs, which is, God, is that Croatian 5.56? But their weapon of choice. And then we've got a PKM, some more AK-74 variants here. And then an AK-74 with a GP25 system, SIVA vest units as well. Plenty of STALKER stuff, but camos are right. They've also got some ammo boxes. We see some RPGs, some SVDs, which I'd assume Blue 4 then has some sort of marksman as well. I just didn't see any. Their heavy hitter group is called Zenith. I can tell just by looking at them with that. And then we've got... Actually, it might not be, because it looks like everyone has a different squad name here. Let me scroll out. Let's see. It might be Granite then at the bottom. Yeah, so they've got all the tricked out weaponry and whatnot. They also have their command BRDM and then a bunch of UAZs and transports as well. I think they got this pretty right here, and they're picking up some of the loner bodies here. Great. Whoever made this mission, they nailed the atmosphere, though. I think this is a great choice for everything. But let's go ahead and look at the zones here. So we've got the Bloodsucker Village. I doubt we'll see any real Bloodsuckers in here. We did find some stable Bloodsuckers, though, in that first test mission. But usually we don't see PvE elements in a PvP match. But I'll be moving over here just because you never know. There could be one invisible around you. I think they have a sound module in here, and they have a bunch of body parts there, so... I think that's how they're going to do it, because otherwise I would at least see a set of eyes or something, right? Usually they only invisible if they're aggroed, but that's a pretty funny touch there. Otherwise, looking over at the radio stations, so this is Beta over here. These contain psi emitters that Monolith will be trying to activate, and I think at any time... Freedom can disable them, so let's go ahead and look at the other one over here. So we've got the speaker system for Monolith, and then somewhere around here is that other laptop to activate it, which would be right here. That's... I wonder if it changes pictures based off of who activates what. We have a bunker complex here, so I'm assuming you have to... Uh-oh. You have to climb into here and then interact with that. So they've got a radiation audio script playing through the stuff over here, and then we've got, yeah, the map pieces of it too, which is quite nice. So I'm assuming we're going to see that mirrored over on this side as well. Yep. Got some pretty funny stuff in here. But I don't think we're going to see anything like mutants or whatnot for this many people. That's going to cause some, I guess, too many issues. They built some custom anomaly sites here. Nice, so... They built these out of vanilla rocks. And then you have the area over here. So this is the Freedom guy that Monolith's trying to kill within the 45-minute mark. And then the Monolith guy is going to be in this one. Inside. Kind of funny, though. That means if they kill the Monolith guy, they get a free exosuit. And that thing does give you additional resistance to damage, that's for damn sure. Let's go ahead and go over our roster real quick. So we've got Emil commanding Blue 4 with Damon and Goldo. Fawn's commanding the first platoon with Ghost and Roofy under him. Voron squad has Mr. Dave, Cuboid, Shay, Effective House, Logic, NASA, Wombat, Demovar, and Masano. Flint has Henry T, Rowan, Sancho, Fresno, Guy with Rifle, Bursty, and Wayne. Muklia has Galsky with Arnok, Tonto, Wilhelm, and Addy on the track. Second platoon is being commanded by Twigkin with Jasper and Rodrig under him. Rodrig is one of the marksmen, so that's why we have these marksmen. They're at the platoon level. All right. Ganji has Duitson, Killer J, Watts, Ryan, Whiteside, and Oddball. Kremlin has Lolo, Rigel, Ivnomane, Goatlord, Zixme, and Nubass. Ashshot has, Ishot, excuse me, has Daggleberry. Ashshot, goddammit. Gazag, Ash, and Major Khan. And then the elite squad has Lolo with Green Thumb, Oya, that's what I'm going to settle with. Alejandro? Puma, Led, Bombardillo, and Alexander. Op 4, meanwhile, being commanded by Kevin with Dennis, Isramrem, and Callie under him. First platoon is going to be led by Horno with Elarson and Kyle and Combs. Okay, Kyle's going to be the marksman. Obsidian has Pogo, Dan Wolf, Nort, Depso, Cheeseburger, and Barrows. Grishowski, let me pan over them real quick, just so we can listen to the sweet, sweet sound of Monolith. Anyway, we got Depso, Cheeseburger, and Barrows all under Obsidian with those other guys. Grishowski leading... Actually, no, Skipu leading Walrus with Grajowski, Marty, excuse me, Wiki Quartz, Templar, and Pogram. The second platoon is being led by Lenfell with Wilkie as the marksman, Neves as a, I would assume, platoon medic. Zenith has Mr. Wife, Asnor, Jonathan, Rick Hunter, Delta, Daedalus, and Rizbo. Requiem has a bunch of the 23rd PZD members, which I can never pronounce the names of, but we'll scroll through nonetheless. I will do my best here. Hold on. Herzog, Horst, Honig, Grenhart, Ehrenberg, Staub, Willie, and Vaughman. I don't think that's a B. I think you pronounce it another way. I don't know how. Mission just started. Got slightly darker. We'll see Op 4 start deploying here. Onyx has Edek, Bishop, Vesic, Sani, Dima, Nikta, Poro, Grish. I'm just trying to find something to pronounce here. Makir, Ellis Boy, and Sanya. And then we've got Granite with Audrey, Subsettler, Defraw, Rombel, excuse me, Pingus, Gregory, Vaku, and Watchtech. And then Andre is a reservist here. So we see Op 4 deploying in various directions here. Blue 4 looks like they're sticking to one direction, but they're having a little bit of trouble getting all their forces out because they only have one way to go here. So a little bit of an early lead by Op 4 deploying all of their forces to various different sides here. And then Blue 4 is just heading up one way. It looks like they're going to go immediately for either anomaly site defense or offense here and flank around. We'll see if there's any other forces that are trying to come up to the middle. But it makes sense. These anomaly sites are cashed in first. It's a quick go in, kill the guy, defend your own guy, and then you can branch out. So Blue 4's plan might be to secure the right side of the map. Op 4, meanwhile, we see them separated on both sides. And it looks like something just misfired there. Instead of being cashed in at the 45-minute mark, it looks like it cashed itself out at the 45-second mark. Huh. So we're going to negate those points counted on the bottom left because that was not supposed to fire properly. Crazy things happen in the zone, ladies and gentlemen. Grob is gross, so a B is S sound. Gotcha. All right. Regardless, Op 4 Monolith are very far spread out here. Freedom Blue 4, gonna just start calling them Freedom and Monolith forces here, are all trying to go for the anomaly sites on the far area there, so we'll just have to see how things go. Now it's our deployment phase. Op 4 being very even with their deployment here. Blue 4, we'll see if they get anything done. But we've got forces now deploying right next to this zone here. Loki is one of the major teams to watch because these are their heavy hitters with exosuits and suppressed weaponry. And it looks like they're going to be playing defense for now. I'm going to be honest, I don't really agree with using your heavy hitters on defense. I think their main focus is to overpower opponents. The only way they're going to be evened out is if they run into the opponent's special forces team. So by putting them on defense, I guess maybe because it'll be cashed in quickly at the 45-minute mark, they can then immediately go for the other areas and then be offensive. And maybe they're relying on other teams to run into the Op 4 Monoliths heavy hitter squad and potentially thin them out to give them more of an end game advantage, but I think you should just be aggressive. That's always my plan with any PvP. The more aggressive you are, the better, regardless of the situation and circumstances. right. Otherwise, we got Op 4 around their anomaly site on the northern side. We have a few guys going around to the research bunkers here, and then forces heading to the radar station. So Op 4, Monolith, very divided out. Blue 4, Freedom, still close together here. We might see some groups splinter off and start hitting other positions, but yeah, even though we have all this divide, Monolith is putting a lot of guys around their anomaly site here, and then one force kind of reconning forward, so we'll just have to see how things go. Can someone... Okay, actually, no, I see it. So 51.1k to Freedom, and then, what was that, 48.3 to Monolith? So we're almost completely evenly split. And I'm not surprised with how even the roster looks with everything. I don't really see a clear advantage to either side. Not really in map, not really in objective. This is just going to be purely to PvP. There's no asset advantage. Both sides really just have a powerful hit team and then forces on both sides. The vehicles are even, the objectives are even. Unironically, this is as even in PvP as you can get. So we'll just have to see how it goes. ProLab, thanks for the 26-month resub, buddy. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Alrighty. And then after this, we'll have, well, as this stream's wrapping up, I'll play the Stillwater Thingamajig Fun, and then the... Oh, whatchamacallit, we have Pog later tonight, and then I'm probably going to do a dev stream. Final totals were 62k to Freedom and 56k to Monolith. That's fair. Good split there. Looks like Monolith is going to be aggressive first here. Makes sense, it's Monolith. They are sending their hit team forward on the BRDM. This is what I wanted to see, using their most powerful group forward. I just don't think they were expecting Blue 4 to turtle the first objective. Emil, I don't really see command a lot, but this is insane. He's literally put everything around the anomaly site, and it looks like he's going to walk forces from here to the radar station. So I have a feeling he's going to move his forces up, probably leave a good chunk of defenders on the anomaly site.
Hello. How it going?
Bring most of his forces up to the radar station, and then if he has time, he can run forces up to the anomaly site, but the rest can then go over and hit the purple zone, maybe fall into the bunker as well, but the bunkers are only worth 1 point apiece, whereas these radar stations are worth 2, and then I think the anomaly sites are worth 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Something. The Bloodsucker Village is worth 3. Everything else is worth 2. Except for the research bunkers, which you just need to get your commander in. That's only worth 1. But anyway, Corin, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for the 53-month resub. I hope you're excited, dude. There is going to be a massive 40k mission this weekend on Saturday, I believe, at 5 p.m. So I know you're a 40k fan. I hope you enjoy that one. Not going to lie, again, heavy hitter team can do a lot, but they are very, very outnumbered here. The amount of stalkers compared to heavy hitter exo units, and then they even have their own heavy hitting exo unit team somewhere in here as well. That would be Loki. Loki's playing pure defense here. So if they're going to commit Granite in here, they're literally just going to end up going from objective to just forcing out as many kills as they can. Here's the risk, though. If Granite pushes in and gets completely overwhelmed, Blue 4 will then have 2 exosuit squads. And at that point, I hate to call early GGs, but if you've played a Stalker game, you know how powerful exosuits are. So if one side has 2 exosuit squads, and the other side has none, what do you think is gonna happen? Might as well be GG at that point. So there's literally just going to be a small platoon team. Oh, they're going to drive right in. Okay. Oh, thank God they stopped. I was about to say, if they drive right into this, they're dead. Here, a bit of a storm coming. This Stalker has been assigned to look this way. Little does he realize there is a nasty set of exosuit members over here. I think with these guys hiding in the bush, they do see other friendly forces. They might be able to get the jump on the exosuit guys here. But I'm going to be honest, this is really just going to rely on the PvP of Audricep's team compared to all the Blue 4 members here. This is going to be a slaughter one way or the other. I just don't know which way it's going to go yet. First contact starts. It is a Monolith guy firing up at some Blue 4 members here. One Blue 4 guy immediately taken out. Killer J trying to return fire. Oddball gets wounded. That had to have been a lucky headshot on Defraw there, but otherwise we see more shots raining out. Grenades being thrown forward. Looks like one guy ran up. Killer J is trying to do medical on Oddball. That grenade landed close, but he was prone, so it did minimal damage. Look at this, though. We have Blue 4 now closing around on this nasty concave assault. Some of the Monolith forces realize that there is probably a problem here. They're pulling back to full security. We do have a heavy machine gunner, well, medium machine gunner there with the AS Val guy for flank support.
Dangerous mutants, anarchists, and bandits. None of them will stop duty on its triumphant march towards saving the planet.
And Drew's if only duty was here today. But nonetheless, thanks for the 13-month resub. Duty will be on tomorrow. But I hope you keep enjoying the operation, so I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Little worried about this knockout we're seeing here, but one of the Exosuit members pushed up alone. That was Washtek as the marksman. He is now getting finished off, but you just saw multiple shots hit him in the chest, and the Exosuit pretty much tanked all that damage. So, if you're double tapping Exosuit people, you need to make sure you're hitting them in the face, because they will tank the ammo otherwise. So you got even more Blue 4 now trying to move around to the rear here. Op 4 trying to push up with their platoon team here. They get a side headshot on that member. Can Horno get the other shot? He throws a grenade, immediately returns fire, but takes a headshot. That grenade, though, knocks out his opponent as it also takes fire from Blue 4. So Freedom has a bit of a miscoordination here. Machine Gunner has now started firing at the command VRDM back here. I'm going to scroll out real quick. Op 4 still in control of everywhere else, but Blue 4 keeping all their forces here. That might just pay off, but here's the question. Can Op 4, with their heavy hitter squad, kill enough Blue 4 to basically shift the tide? Also, the fact that they are potentially going to lose all of their Exosuit guys in this assault. Speaking of Exosuits, where is Loki Team? Loki Team's actually been pushing forces here and been taking some casualties. So they got shifted to immediately counter the Monolith Granite Team. Loki and Granite are the two Exosuit groups. Those are the heavy hitters on both sides. And we even just saw an RPG fire out. But again, there seems to be a massive amount of blue on blue here as the Freedom Forces are misidentifying just how large the Monolith assault is, and Monolith is just reaping every reward they can here. Bagu, I thought he saw that member of Flint there, but he immediately crawls behind a tree, and then you've got one guy pulling back. I think the only thing that's been saving Op 4 from getting completely encircled is the Blue 4 miscommunication and the fact that they have those exosuits on. But a lot of people know FCRA usually resort to headshots by default. And your head is unfortunately not as protected in Arma 3, even with an exosuit on. But you see that Op 4 is still able to get some decent pickoffs here and there. We'll do a skull count at the end just to see if this was worth it, but Op 4 is going to have to be like 2-to-1 here. And then we got, look at that, some massive communication issues with Blue 4's Freedom faction, because we're just seeing massive amounts of Blue 4 everywhere, and that's just adding to the confusion. Thankfully, though, at the internal PvP level between forces here, it's working out. We got to remember that, you know, some players will also disconnect. But let's see, Granite is at about half strength here. We have a random dead guy up there, probably got hit by an anomaly, and the entirety of the platoon team that went up to assist him is also dead. Meanwhile, we've got one dead on Blue 4, a few dead here, another dead right there. So the deaths are a little even at the moment. Blue 4 definitely have more wounded, but at this point, I think the Granite team has to realize that they're screwed here. We also have to remember this is a timed competition of 90 minutes. So if Op 4 is just able to pin the majority of Blue 4 in this position, every minute they're able to stall Blue 4 here gives Op4 a slightly better advantage because Blue 4 will eventually have to lick their wounds, potentially loot all those exosuits, and then redeploy, and that's going to take them at least 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, in 15 to 20 minutes, the 2 anomaly site objectives will be close to being cashed in. Op4 can bring all their forces forward, and then Blue 4 will then begin deploying, so, Actually, I think that's a moot point. I think it doesn't really matter. It gives Blue 4 a lot of time to stay on this objective and loot. And while I understand that in the Stalker game, if you have an exosuit helmet, you're super tanky, but, you know, they still balanced everything. They don't want one... If they're going to give a squad of exosuit dudes on, like, one side or the other, that means they're going to be slightly more tanky than the rest of the guys. Maybe, you know, 2 to 3 headshots instead of 1, or, you know, instead of, like, 5 or... Well, no, like 3 or 4 bullets to the torso, probably, you know, up to 10, I'd say. But even then, you just can't really equate these numbers here. Yeah, to make PvP even, you still have to make it so that, you know, someone can't just power trip. PvE, have your power trip fantasies all the time, but PvP, there still has to be somewhat of a balance. So I think that's an AS Val gunner shooting down there. Yeah, Defron, he was able to get Gregory up, but this leaves 2 Monolith members back here as the rest pull back. Looks like 4 of them were able to mount up. Let's see how much damage this 2-man team can deploy here, but they got to be careful about popping smokes or whatnot, because they are pretty much surrounded. So at least half of the team was able to pull out, which is good, and then we still have members of Blue 4 getting knocked out. But the attack is definitely stalled a little bit. Now you're having only a few members of Blue 4 trickle in. And I think because Defraud was prone, he got knocked out from a headshot there. And double tapped immediately. The other Monolith member, he goes prone. So Defraud was able to get him up. I wonder if those suppressed shots are going to attract Oddball. Yep, he's coming up to explore those. And he immediately taps him in the head. But notice how the headshot, normally a headshot would insta-kill you. But at least the exosuits are preventing that. But that secondary headshot did not. So, exosuits definitely more tanky than usual, at least for OFCRA standards, but not as tanky as they would be, you know, from the actual Stalker games. But again, it's all about balance. So, good cleanup by Blue 4 there. They still had a few guys get knocked out. Looks like one of them's being worked on. The other one hopefully will be found and worked on as well. But in terms of skull counts here, again, you just see multiple knockouts here from all that fighting. I think Op4 made the right call and pulled their forces back because there were just so much Blue 4 activity here. But that attack, I think, did the maximum amount of damage it would be because it did get Blue 4 to do some blue on blue multiple times and further weaken communication and trust between all of those groups. But you're going to see Blue 4 basically pinned on this position for a lot longer. They're going to do some looting. I think maybe 4 or 5, because, again, some people leave the server. Guys died, so some Blue 4 are going to potentially pick up those exosuits. We already see them picking up the helmets. Those would definitely be the most important part to pick up because, you know, that prevents you from getting one-tapped in the face. But I don't know. Op4 still has really good map control here, whereas Blue 4, they're controlling one zone. Eventually, we're going to have to see a split up. But I think part of Blue 4's plan is then going to be from here marching over to Beta and then the village here, the Bloodsucker village, and then gaining all those points. Op4, meanwhile, will at least gain the points from here and then from that station, and then it's just going to be a fight for the final area because these are only worth 1 point, so it's not really worth it for Blue 4 to go out there and get it. So Blue 4 strategy is definitely keep everyone together to completely overwhelm your opponent and then just take the points as you go. Op 4, though, it forces them to be divided, and I think the only team that would get away from, you know, being able to go in there, do a lot of damage, and get out was the heavy granted exosuit team, but they're now down to a little below 50% strength because I think they started with 10, and now they're down to 4. So Blue 4 now having, you know, an additional 5 or 6 exosuits as well to basically be an additional vanguard. I'm not sure long term this attack did enough for the Monolith faction as they were hoping. Plus, it was just too well defended. I think Op4 was planning for Blue 4 to do a similar strategy to them, where they would fan things out. That way the Exosuit could get into that objective and absolutely bulldoze everything, but they ended up fighting the entire Blue 4 side, you know? So it's messy. Very, very messy. Otherwise, Brig, how you doing? Thanks for the 16-person raid, buddy. We're watching some Stalker PvP at the moment between Monolith and Freedom on Op 4 and Blue 4, respectively. Op 4 is good map control, but Blue 4 is doing a great job of keeping everyone together, so at this point, it's an anything-goes sort of ordeal. That's what I'm thinking, too, that Blue 4, I think, is going to win purely on attrition, because I'm going to tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to march their force here after this gets cashed in, and then they're going to march it to the final zone, and that should give them 2, 4, 7 points out of the total 10. The other points are going to come from basically this area and this area. Op 4 is going to get the 2 from here, and the 1 from there, and that's going to give them 5. And then if they get the final area, it's going to be worth an additional 3. But Op 4, by basically trying to cover all the objectives, is going to just stay divided here. We'll just have to see how things go. Shark, when I have the time, buddy. I don't have the time. You guys want to hear a quick TLDR of what I have to do? I think I sent this to Charlotte, because Charlotte wants me to review a mission that she made, and I told her it's not going to be this week. Alright. There's that Death Spire 40k mission that we're running Saturday. There is the Stalker operation for not just tomorrow, but the following Tuesday, because that is some client work. There is the Star Wars finale with not just the Imperial Palace we're making, but there's going to be like 4 little side objectives that people can hit as well. And then there is a schism in a Mass Effect community that I've now decided through spite, because people crossed me, I'm going to work on a campaign for them, and that's the lowest out of those other 3 priorities. So that alone, plus all the other normal missions I try to do every week. I'm trying to prep a new Anti-Stasi campaign. Still working out some testing for that. And then, what else? The POG campaign has to be slightly rebalanced because they wanted pay-for-pain elements removed, and that's going to be debuting tonight, and then I still have to work on it for next week as well, because I have to give them more than a day to, you know, do their weekly changes, but I only admittedly gave them a day this week because I was super busy. But, yeah. Silver lining, at least Stillwater's in a bye week this week, so I don't have to worry about kidding for that, but that is just a little a little glance at what I have to do. So as soon as I get time, Shark, maybe we can get back into playing games that aren't Arma 3 and DayZ. Just maybe. But it's not going to be this week. And it's probably not going to be next week either. And I agree, Spite is a very powerful motivator. When I do dev tonight after POG, I'll probably tell the story of what happened with the Mass Effect community, because it's pretty funny. And, I'm gonna be honest, it's also super rare when I'm 100% in the right. But this is one of those opportunities. What am I thinking for Anti-Stasi? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I know 40k is completely off the table, though, because I think 40k is just a glass cannon fest, and we're not gonna, you know, it's gonna be done in 4 weeks at most. Maybe Halo against Covenant would be cool. But otherwise, probably something a little more on the generic side, but we'll see. Star Wars, again, maybe. I just don't know what the third faction would be. I can't do it with Flood, though, Ian, because that's gonna be way too buggy. You know, silver lining in terms of random news, I have been slightly amused by Lucent's depressive episode recently because one of his favorite streamers or VTubers is retiring. That's been funny to watch. And for those of you that don't know Lucent, don't worry that I'm bullying him. And for those of you that do know Lucent, you know why I bully him. Alright, bit of a misfire there, but, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, a little bit of a disappointing part, but we're in a bit of a bind here, because Op 4 is gonna maintain total map control here other than this one area, and Blue 4 is not gonna maneuver until they have this area cashed in, you know? So now it's just gonna be a wait and see. Alright, what else do we got? I do appreciate that Blue 4 did maneuver the BTR to do Overwatch from over here to at least watch for any wide flank assaults here. Having that heavy gun is going to be useful to mow down any vehicles that try to move an outflank. But again, this is what happens when we have an overly aggressive map controlling side versus a turtler. We haven't seen something like this in OFCRA in a very long time, but it's two completely opposite strategies that unfortunately just lead to a lot of downtime. You know? So here we are. Ah, man. And again, I don't know what we're going to do for Antistasi. I still have a few weeks to figure that out because I think we have two more Mondays before I have to fill them completely, and then Cole has 3 more Saturdays, which, you know, starts this weekend, so technically like 2.5 weeks before I gotta figure something out, but till then, I'll be honest, I am working on other stuff. You know what did piss me off last night, though? And this kind of burnt me out from working more on mission dev. Whenever I start a new campaign, I take a VR template file, and I will put everything down in the mod set to make missions with it. So, because I'm working on a Mass Effect campaign, I put down every single object that's sci-fi related on a VR mission, and I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of really cool fucking shit. Val, you're gonna love it. The issue was, I got everything spawned down and started spawning the Halo stuff, and because I'm an idiot and I don't autosave files... Actually, no, that's a lie. I set my autosaved every 15 minutes, I just forgot to save the name, because when you make a new file, it doesn't autosave until you actually save it. TLDR, I forgot to save it when I tried to spawn that big-ass position from Blood Gulch on, which even wasn't even the biggest item. It was, like, moderate-sized at most, like, compared to everything else. My game decided to black screen. So it took me, like, 30 minutes to spawn all... No, probably more like 40, to be honest. Put all those down, and then, boop, done. Dead. And it's like, ah! I'd say every, like, 3 to 6 months... something like that happens and I lose, like, anywhere from half an hour to an hour's worth of progress. Leaf Russell freaked me out for a second. Alright, Blue 4 looks like they're going slightly aggressive here. We do have the Loki group heading out. So there are only 5 dudes alive in Loki. They started with a lot more, though, so that means the Exosuit team was actually able to get quite a few kills out of that. It looks like they're also sending their BTR and 2 trucks worth of dudes, potentially 3. Looks like Blue 4 splitting their forces to potentially start going for the research bunker and the radar station. Maybe... No, not a maybe. They know they're comfortable right now because they know that Op 4 isn't going to put another attack up there because of those numbers. So I think they're thinking that they can actually safely start dividing, and instead of having everyone on the anomaly site, they can splinter into 2 large groups and then push to the other areas and at least feel them out. So we're going to see a little bit of aggression by Blue 4 now. I'm going to be honest, a bit risky, because they have a solid plan of they can hit here and then completely take over the radar station and then completely take over the Bloodsucker zone. So I think there is some pressure from the squad leaders to go out and do this because they want to go get some action. Let's going to be honest. Let's be honest. PvP, people want to shoot their guns. And if you tell them to sit around for an hour, they're going to be mad at you. I would be mad at you. I want to go shoot my gun. But I think now we're going to see this group split up into 2 forces here. One's going to stay and defend and then start moving into radar station beta. The other one probably going to flank around, either go for the research bunker or for the radar station. Probably the radar station because it's worth more points. But maybe they'll try to sneak around. It depends. Where's command right now? because Command has to be in that research bunker to score, and I think we see that Commander potentially going to mount a vehicle here, so maybe we'll see that. But otherwise, that tells me that I think these forces are probably going to go for the radar station, because that's going to be another 2 points worth. So from there, we'll just have to see how things go. I keep hearing distant shots and whatnot. I can't tell if that's the ambient noise or if that's actual gunshots. I think one of those shots was real because that's the second time I've heard a misfire up here, but I'm not seeing any symbols flash on the map which indicates they're actively firing. That, though, was active fire. That's a lot of painkillers, Sergey. Yeah, so they're just fucking around right here, because, again, they're waiting. We could see that these guys try to do another counterattack here, but I'm going to be honest, there's only 4 of them. Even at half strength, I think this is enough defenders to repel 4 people. If it was their full squad of 10, I think there'd be a pretty decent chance, considering the strength of the exosuits, but 4, like, that's, again, reduced by more than half. I don't think it's going to happen, Chief. Either way, another major component here is Op4 by default is also super stretched thin, so if Blue 4 just start bulldozing some of these positions, it's going to make the final fight at Bloodsucker Village, that purple zone in the middle, much easier. But again, this is just a bit of a wait and see here. As Blue 4, again, I appreciate that they're going aggressive now. It's risky to do that, but they don't know how Op4 is deployed either, but at the same time, by giving your opponent enough time to, like, totally scout the map and then potentially divide and try to hit everything, you've enticed them to spread out thin, and now you're going to try to reap that as a reward, so we'll see. Has Blue 4 gotten in a... No, they have not. They're still holding back. And yeah, that one's only worth 1 point. You can take it or leave it, but compared to the other objectives, it's kind of minimal, but we'll see if that 4-man team can do any damage, but they're fighting a force at least 4 to 5 times their size. Exosuits or not, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Zam, shut the fuck. You know, no. He's going to a corner for that one. Back to the corner with you, Zam. Cone of Shame's going on. None of that. I'll give you a hint. It was something about modding bloodsuckers to do something else, and that's all I'm gonna leave it at. Zam is my litmus test. If you are worse than Zam, we ban you. And it's literally not that hard to stay better than Zam. Yeah. Well, Angel, you're the one that asked, so you reap what you sow, buddy. Sounds like a challenge? Please, God. Don't make me. Anyway, Blue 4 doing a massive dismount right here. This is in the open, though. I see, but it's on a little bit of elevation, so they can at least scout the position out. I mean, that's only 6 Monolith members here. The Freedom elements here are going to have a lot more manpower. They're at least double to triple that. That's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then a 15th right there. And then they've got even more forces coming. So yeah, they've got a 3-to-1 manpower ratio there. And then we've got the BTR potentially trying to find a position to scout out that area too. So I don't know. And then you've got Op4. They've moved up to the farmstead and they're trying to do recon. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this was a good spot to go in, because if there's any Blue 4 still here that are going to be watching you, you're basically putting yourself in a position that can be scouted by all this open area around. And you know that since you came here earlier, they absolutely had this area completely locked down. So that might have been a bit silly. But thankfully for them, Blue 4 have a tighter perimeter because they're dividing forces out. But that in its own right is advantageous to know, because now they know there's a smaller garrison here, which means other groups of Monolith forces, aka Op4, should be on high alert, because that means they're probably going to redeploy somewhere else. So I'd imagine we'll see a heightened alert status for Beta, which is why you actually see a lot of Monolith members outside of the position here. They're trying to scout to see where the attack is coming from. That way, since they already have forces on the outside, they can flank around and eliminate any Blue 4 that come in. But Alpha, I mean, they only have 6 dudes, so the best they can do is take a bunch of different firing positions here in Overwatch points and watch for a potential enemy attack coming. I think Sonya here knows something's coming based off the fact that this player is prone here and keeps looking in this direction. So We might just see a camp right here, but I'm not sure with it bipoded, the weapon can be lowered all the way to the door. But that's not a bad camping spot. You'll be able to down at least a guy or two, but then they're going to start chucking grenades. But because you're up a stairwell, you can always pull back. And then they'll just shoot out the window and pop nades in here. But, you know, shit happens. We have another truck of dudes out here. This is a dismount. We've got 7 people on that one. There's another truck coming around the flank here, which only has 3. But, I mean, that's 10 forces, and they got some Overwatch groups, too. And then they're also slowly bringing the BRDM around, or excuse me, BTR. And then we have a platoon element over here. But, yeah, no. From the fact we see that command is not moving from this anomaly site, they're not going to go for the research bunker points here. They're instead going to try to lock down the radar station. Can someone check the mission command and tell me which radar station is cashed in at the 60-minute mark and which one's cashed in at the 70-minute mark? Also, I want to see if the symbol's changed to indicate who has control. No, it still has... Is that Strelok's face? I don't know. It's been a while. So Alpha is at the 60-minute mark and Beta is at the 70-minute mark. So what this basically means is this objective, you got to remember this is +8 because there's 8 minutes to safe start. So at the 53-minute mark, that's when these 45-minute objectives will be cashed in, which is in 10 minutes, 40 seconds. But this is be cashing at the 68-minute mark and that at the 78-minute mark. So after Blue 4 wipes this, they're probably just going to go directly over to Cherry Sakal. Because that is, or Shakal, excuse me, because that's where the Bloodsucker village is. And then this force will probably move up and reinforce. Because at that point, that's Strelok. Alright, I was right. Oh. So, Blue 4 kind of kicked this off a little early. Point man for the 3-man group got spotted and knocked. That was Wombat being a little too aggressive there. But the other team, and look at all that infantry coming up. But I digress. The 2 points here, the 2 points from their Preacher, and then the 3 points from the Bloodsucker village, that will total more than 5. Wounded guy, double tapped, and that is the first kill for Monolith, but that is going to change very soon. So, basically, you're just going to see them sandwich Bloodsucker village. Maybe these guys will go up and harass the radar station there, but yeah. I don't want to call an early GG just yet. You might see these 6 Monolith players go actually, it's 7 now. These 7 Monolith players go absolutely freaking ham. They're making Blue 4 confused on where they're being engaged from, too. That's not bad. Is the Wish Granter playing tricks on me? I thought there were 7 triangles in here, and now there's 6. Oh, that's why, because someone just lost connection. No! But yeah, this place is just going to eventually get enveloped and rushed, and I'm not sure there's much Op4 can do here. The best case is the Monolith players defending can at least do a 2-to-1 KD and help to minimize Blue 4's number advantage. That way, when the final objective here is being cashed, Op4 can have an advantage attacking to offset the fact that Blue 4 is probably going to be there first at this rate. Great, GL just blew out all the windows on that building, so they know somebody's up there. You gotta remember, though, they're getting their Bard bonus. The Monolith players. But I... excuse me, I don't know. It's... So, as I said earlier, we'll see that some of these guys will pick up some of the exosuits that the Op4 Granite team left behind, and you see that right here with Mr. Dave. Can you imagine a Mini-Me, which I would argue the Mini-Me or the 249, probably some of the best guns in PvP because of their stats. Now a guy with an exosuit has that. It's kind of scary. Op4, I don't think so. I think these 4, that's part of that's Granite Team's Remnant. It looks like Blue 4 spotted them and has already set up defensive line in that direction because, again, that's a very open spot to be in. But, again, 4 exosuit guys aren't going to be able to kill 20 guys because we already just saw 10 try to kill the entirety of Blue 4, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think they just tried to use a GL to knock out the wall, but it was ineffective. They're basically trying to find a position to breach this spot, but there's only one. And you got one op4 guy watching. I can't tell if they just try to vault the wall or if they're throwing smokes over here to freak them out. Trying to check if there's any skulls here. So you had Wombat die from the Volron group there. You got Ivnomain, he's dead from over on the other side. And now you got the BRDM, or excuse me, BTR firing with that 14.5 millimeter from the side. Now that's an anomaly. Now that was an anomaly. I'm surprised they were able to pull his body out without it getting double tapped. RPG just went into that building and partially destroyed it. But there seems to be some confusion in the Freedom ranks here. Well, Monolith are content on holding this position. However, Mr. Dave's in the building. He's our exosuit machine gunner here. And he is not going to pull punches if he can get up to those Monolith gunners. They're gonna have a bad time. One of them accidentally fell down. We've got... Uh-oh. It just takes one guy to rout a few people out of their positions if they're focused on Overwatch. And he got mag dumped in the head. He got knocked to his feet, and then his head got put forward and immediately mag dumped by that VSH. Damn. I think that exosuit he looted was making him feel a little too overconfident. So far, Op4, they've had no KIAs. There's still 6 of them here. Blue 4, the Freedom group, they have taken at least 3 or 4 at this point. The one earlier there, we got 2 bodies, 2 wounded. And we have another wounded right there. So far, this attack has actually been very, very costly to Freedom. This might be that lucky break that Monolith needed to win this fight. Yeah, now there's an exosuit that's been delivered to these guys, but they might not even have time to loot it because they're under heavy fire here. You know, I agree. I do vehemently hate the VHS, but it does have a really good fire rate. I will give it that. Alright, I'm looking at kills here. Vasek's on 1. Edek is on -1 somehow. Poro here's on 2, and Sani's also at -1. So I don't know what is going on with that, but... Maybe because they killed some of the friendly AI in the beginning to get kills back, which means it's going to skew our kill feed here, but... fine. Got more Blue 4 coming in. Op4, they're too busy on internal security here, so now they can't be here to outflank the Blue 4 guys coming in. But we see them getting back on station. Onyx now firing from a different angle. Gets a knockout, but this smoke grenade is obscuring a bit. BTR has now... Oh, excuse me, the BRDM has pushed up. We rarely see these actually used in PvP, but that's a good spot to have it. Wall's getting knocked out here as well. So we have multiple breach points at this point. This building's eventually going to detonate with the amount of grenades that are being put on it, but that's going to kill at least more Blue 4 than Op4 here. And Op4, I can't tell if they're actually going to potentially bring reinforcements here to hold this site, because if reinforcements do come, I think they'll be good. But you can just see multiple murder holes that Op4 has been trying to set up, but they are starting to take casualties. It's that Bard bonus, man. That's why Monolith's doing so well. You got to take these out. It's inspiring them. Oh, shut the door, guys. They're so lucky a Blue 4 member wasn't watching that. And then you got the one Op4 guy in here now holding the stairwell. But if he's able to find out that there's a massive amount of Blue 4 people right here, one guy pulls out and immediately gets gunned down. Honestly, they should have this door only partially open so they can immediately pick people off and minimize their exposure there as he runs back, takes shots. And he has no choice but to go prone, but Monolith be praised. Wilhelm ran out of ammo with that magazine, and he just stays there. But can't get the shot on him. You've got Edic here holding that corner, but we have another Blue 4 breacher. Shay throws a grenade up there and gets lucky with it and is able to knock out that Monolith member. But the KDs of these Op 4 players here have been phenomenal to hold this site. I was expecting Blue 4 to bulldoze this, but damn. Zam, I swear to God I will bonk you again. Stop it. They drag the body back. Looks like that guy that took the grenade got woken up there. But Op 4 still holding at near full strength. They've only taken a single casualty. A Blue 4 Grenadier round somehow went rogue and went all the way up here and got a friendly kill. No, this wasn't... Op 4 is actually sending reinforcements, and they were able to get a lucky long-range GL on that. Now they're going to shoot at people on the rear here. Now they're evenly trading, but this reinforcement group could be the relief that this Monolith element needs. However, they are getting knocked out as they are now fighting firm resistance. That one Blue 4 member, Shay, is taken out. All right, and they're officially calling the VIPs there because we're at the 53-minute mark. NASA's doing it manually. That stalker there just got taken out as he was trying to hold behind the other body there. GL's now going forward, just trying to make sure this place is double tapped. That might have been a flare round, yeah. So he ran out of GLs, but score should be 2-2 even. As Blue 4, I don't think Freedom has the manpower to take this position now. Monolith were able to hold, and now they're being reprieved here. And Blue 4, they are going to call everything to go to the radar station now. So they're going all in on this position. If Op 4 can hold, they could potentially defeat Blue 4 in detail here with how vital this position is. Looks like the two wounded guys were woken back up. They're now securing the northern angle here. Hopefully they know they're coming so they're not red on redded here. But we have a few forces also flanking around. Alejandro gets caught out in the open by Wick. Question is, can Wick Torres find him as he's trying to crawl to that entry point? Wow. The PKM gunner up here that originally saw this attack wave coming in just got lucky and was able to see the head of that BRDM gunner and take him out. Damon gets caught out in the open and taken out by another Monolith defender. You're just seeing Freedom getting stacked here. Looks like Puma was able to find Wick Courts here and take him out. And the other guy that was crawling up just got taken out by Skipu. And Monolith, I can't believe it, but they have defeated a force 3 to 4 times their size and been reinforced, and they're still getting completely cut down. All hail the Monolith, because this is absolutely brutal. And the craziest part about this is over 50% of Op 4 has not even been committed to the fight yet. Meanwhile, Blue 4 have lost a significant portion of their manpower here. Skipu trying to get that reload, but isn't in time, and Tonto drops him. Nick is knocked out again. Basek on 4 kills. Poro here on 5. Sanya was, I think, on like a negative, but bounced back. But yeah, the kill ratio on this position is nuts. I honestly, can you remember a time for OFCRA specifically, not FNF, because FNF we actually saw this quite a bit when PLH and Scandia Recon would duke it out. with the rest of the forces here. But when in OFCRA have you seen a fight get this one-sided? Where the side that should have been absolutely dominated ended up just absolutely abusing anyone that would come in. Oh, God. All right, 3 guys lined up in a fatal funnel. Marty manages to knock one out. Gets a shot on that poor Freedom Stalker as he runs. Puma tries to return fire, his exosuit saving him. But the non-exosuit members get cut down. He takes another hit there. We see some blood. But he is able to at least now suppress that position as Op4 find another angle. Ooh, had a little lag spike there. Thought we were going to crash, but we're good. They've also stolen... Ah, so Granite's come around. So Granite left that position off from the site there, and they actually came in and took the vehicle. So even the 4-man exosuit team is now bringing some reinforcements in. I don't think they've realized that they've taken this position, though. So we got a bit of red on red here from Monolith. A little bit of miss PID. And I think they just realized, because that was a member of their own team right there, and just called in to say that they're friendly. A little bit of radiation going off. That's not good. But there are literally 2 Blue 4 members remaining here that are still alive and multiple uncons. This is... I'm gonna be honest, this is GG. Thought I heard a helicopter in the distance, but... yeah, Blue 4, the other groups are now starting to enter. We have another group right here that's dismounting that's going to try to clear anything in there. But now there's not sufficient force to get to the Bloodsucker Village. I think Op4 has this because of just how dominant those Monolith players were in this defense fight. I can't even remember the last time I saw 6 dudes hold off a 20 to 30 man group like that. That was absolutely brutal. Hearing some GLs going off as Blue Force trying to engage from this angle. That BTR is back. They're sending another group up to reinforce. So we see Monolith quickly vaulting over. If Freedom has any hope here, they need to somehow now bulldoze this position, bulldoze that position, regroup, and just proceed to the Bloodsucker Village. But even then, they're going to be at like 30% strength, and Monolith is still at 50% strength. And all of the exosuit guys came to this position too, so now Monolith can pick up all the exosuits again. Yeah, this isn't as one-sided as that previous week mission in northern Takistan, but I mean this is getting close to that. No, the speaker, I was saying that as a joke. It doesn't actually buff, but it's kind of funny how that played out. All right, BRDM is pushed up, and we've got the exosuit not really saving him from that headshot there. And, ooh, a great GL. Vons tries to run out. He gets taken out. Again, that exosuit kind of saved him for a bit, but as soon as he lined his head up, it was nothing. The Monolith members outside of the fence here got taken out, so one guy trying to drive away, the GL gets him, and then another guy got knocked on the wall. But Blue 4, they've only got 2 people left on the outskirts, so even more guys tried to push in and got taken out, we saw right there. So I think this is GG. We're going to have a bit of a long-range fight here. This member of Granite Vaku was able to get the double tap right there, but now you just have one. You have Zixme alone, which isn't a bad thing. Zixme's a good player, but with how these guys have been playing, I'm not sure he's going to be able to get the upper hand here. He does have his preferred weapon, though, a 5.56 with an SU-230 and a suppressor and an RPG if he needs it, but I don't think Zixme can go full Strelok here and win. Meanwhile, we see that, I think that's the... No, that is a PKM gunner. Getting some pickoffs here as Blue Force trying to clear this area out. My confidence in Freedom has completely gone dry, though, because you got Monolith again defending this area. They are fighting a superior force, but Monolith will Monolith. Then you got Command back here. I mean, it's all falling apart for poor Emil. I thought he would actually win this one, but unfortunately his idea of overextending to get to Radar Station Alpha blew up in his face. If he just stayed at the other spot and then bulldozed the other two, he would have been good. But we'll never know. Can Zixme channel his inner Strelok and win the match? I think Twig was on blue 4. I gotta hear... Oh, he wasn't in that other major fight, but... Twig also a really good player, but... This is one of those things where on paper blue 4 should have bulldozed, but they didn't. Because something statistically amazing happened, and... I don't blame Emil. Emil had a very solid plan that on all accounts should have won, but this is one of those instances where the PvP just... The PvP clearly favored Monolith here. But everything's even. So again, all hail Monolith. That's all I can really say. They even they fired GLs at him. They fired RPGs. They just cannot get this PK gunner to save their life. They got the other guy that was flanking. Muhum. Now you have a rifleman up here trying to get that knock. They just can't seem to do it. How's Zixme? Zixme found an RPG. And I think he just missed that shot because it didn't detonate. There it is. I think he noticed his building's disabled and he's trying to knock it, but without that second RPG, I don't think he's going to get the shot. Zixme showing off why he's Zixme. He immediately two-taps that stalker in the face. It was a marksman, too, and he's like, nah, fam, I ain't dealing with that. All right, Zixme, you just literally have to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times, 7 more times, potentially 8, 9 more times if the other two guys wake up, but he's definitely trying to det that building. He just has to go Strelok. Getting a little eerie in the zone now, but I think that's because the zone realizes that, bit of a bulldoze at this point. Roderick was able to come around. He doesn't have the kill recorded, though, so I think someone else got that PKM gunner taken out. And now with 3 stalkers remaining on Monolith's side defending the zone. Oh, looks like Muhum woke back up there. Muham, excuse me. Stalker got... Shut the fuck up, Sam. Yeah, you're seeing these mag suits get, the exosuits get absolutely mag dumped there. I think Twig got, tunnel visioned on a kill here. He's taking more double tapping shots. They want him dead, that's for damn sure, but, ooh. Zixme got killed? No! Blue 4 down to their last legs. I'm gonna call it GG. This is, first off, it was amazing to see this PvP in action. I absolutely loved it. I hope they do more. I'm glad it's stable. This is a good sign for what I need to do on Tuesday. But, damn, this was a statistical anomaly. If you are not biased to Monolith, you should be now, because god damn did they outperform. So Twig, even after getting mag dumped, he's still in the open. 2 or 3 bandages have already gone on him. They're going to be putting more on in a second, but yeah. BTR has just decided to pull back at this point. This is all that remains for Freedom. Damn. At this rate, final score is probably going to be 2 points for Blue 4 and then 8 points for Op 4 for the 2 Psi emitters, the anomaly site, and the VIP in the bunker, as well as the final zone. This was just an absolute outperformance. I think the zone is mourning the loss already again. Very eerie right now. You at least have the BTR now trying to follow up and provide some assistance, but... Oh, man. Yeah, that machine gun, the HMG would have been a little more useful earlier because the 14.5 millimeter can penetrate into this structure here. Can't tell if we just saw Rodrigue take a few shots there, but we could very well see Op4 just go fuck it and send another group down to this bunker, but again, their orders are basically to prevent Blue 4 from getting in there to score their point, so... Ooh. Hold on. He's getting the BAP. I'm done with his ass. Alright, and in that tab out, we see one anomaly has managed to eat a member of Monolith and lock him away in a crate. And we know those crates are usually filled with bloodsuckers, and this other guy was also knocked out, so we just have one more Op4 defender here, so Blue 4 might be able to get another point on the board, but that's going to be it. So we just have one more Monolith Stalker here, but I don't think he's getting any help. It's Muhum. Did they get Twig back up? Oh, shit! Muhum gets a knock right there. No, it's a kill. Blue 4 trying to look at that position to see what might give. Schmiel wakes back up. Ooh, I'm taking some return fire there as he crawls down. I'm wondering if they're going to rush his ass with the BTR. Ooh, suppressed shooter has a line of sight. Muhum can't roll out in time, and that is a kill for Twig, who woke back up. Twig has decided, screw this. I'm telling you, man, these things have stuff. Looks like it spit him out, though. Guess it didn't want to eat Dima. Oh, now they're charging this with exosuits. Oh, no. Buddy, I hope you get a headshot, because you're not going to be living that. Well, he got an exosuit. Oh, no. Yeah, he knows to hide. I wouldn't go prone here. He just missed through a grenade. It's a smoke, though. Oh, he got one! He hides in the smoke. Okay, hold on. This guy is playing next level. He obscured himself in the smoke, but an RPG comes in! That was by Rodrigue, and he gets the kill by the RPG. That was a very lucky RPG to hit him. Anyway, 60-point objective got cashed in, so these guys can now pull back. We see potentially this group either going to go up to the Bloodsucker Village or head down. But this is going to pretty much be it. So now it's just a wait-and-see game. Because these objectives, I think, are going to get cashed in another, like, 10 minutes, so... Looks like Op4 are going to be sending some stuff up. Might have an emission start in a second based off of the weather. It's hungry. All right, how many people are in this vehicle? We have a full squad's worth, plus elements of the command team. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 9 people. Blue 4. They do have that BTR with them, but... Oh, please don't blue on blue. Please. Hopefully that's just double tapping on him. But we've got 4 people in the command bunker, 2 people outside, and then what? 2 people in the BTR? Yeah. So 2, 4, 6, 8 versus 9. And we could see these guys push out because I think the radar station was cashed in. Oh, boy, maybe the BTR will get lucky, spot that truck early on, and start mowing it down with a machine gun, but let's have a look. BTR just drove down in the defilade, so it lost its angle on that truck there. Op 4 dismount right here. Blue 4 haven't noticed them yet. It's a lot of movement. Looks like they're re-kitting on some of the dead here. Not a bad call, but we still need security, guys, because Monolith's gonna hear ya. And it looks like they've got multiple RPG gunners. If they just fire into that bunker, they're gonna potentially get a few kills, but they also need to keep their AT on station because there is a BTR around. Looks like Blue 4 spotted them. RPG goes in. It goes over. All right, come on, Monolith. You have to hit the structure. I know what you're thinking. This looks to be the shape of a monolith, and you think that's sacrilege, but you got to make the hit, but it doesn't matter because Blue 4 is running out of the zone. Ha! Shoot an RPG at freedom, they run. BTR is starting to sight targets now. Looks like the driver of that truck just got taken out. Yep. We are down to 7 stalkers for Blue 4. Actually, let me do a head count. Yep, with 2 in the vehicle. Op 4 here down to 9 still, so no change. One knockout from the BTR. And when Monolith attempt to try to get an AT gunner around to the BTR, they get immediately engaged by that marksman. Monolith's only choice is potentially flank around like this. They were able to get one guy by. Maybe this guy can take out that SVD gunner. He does have a GL. So maybe he could put some GL capabilities on the top of this bunker here and harass that GL so he stops engaging the flanking units. But Op 4, we got plenty of guys in other areas here. We're just watching the final fight here. Freedom's last stand. More marksman shots going into the smoke. BTR feels very comfortable with his position. It's going to be suppressing the smoke here. As we have more Monolith forces starting to flank around. I think they've realized how they need to divide and go around. But with 2 knockouts, this medic's going to be busy. Looks like they've dug a trench here, so they're going to drag the guys back on this spot. Oh, and the marksman knocks him out. So we might see some double taps there, but the marksman doing some work today. Got some shots from Killer J as well as he's trying to get some double tapping hits in here. Looks like one of them woke back up, only to get shot at again. Good on the marksman, but I think it's too little too late as we now have Op 4 taking a sizable chunk of their element off to the flank. They're going to definitely be looking for that vehicle to RPG. I'm wondering, though, we do see the group over here mounting up, if they will be ordered to go and assist with that position. I'm going to be honest, might as well be aggressive at this point. They were literally able to completely wipe all Blue 4 that came to them, so Op 4 has to know that they've at least wiped a significant chunk of Blue 4 forces here. So this might be it, especially if they're not getting pushed in any other direction. They have a sizable garrison at the other psi emitter area at Beta. They just got to hold. So why not commit this force over and just bulldoze what remains of Blue 4 here? Yeah, and more than likely Op 4's picked up all the exosuits they could find too. We have a few of them on. And now Monolith is going to slowly start encroaching, but this guy gets headshotted immediately as he tried to sight in Killer J. It's only a knockout. That was a beautiful shot by Jay there. Got some flanking shots from Dewitson over here. He just got another knockout. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, shit. 1 second. More marksman fire. God, I hate that when you have like when you have a sneeze held in, but your body both it does and doesn't want to sneeze. And now it's just burning in my nose. Ugh. Anyway, another Op 4 knockout. So this is in total. So one of them bled out. We got 2 knockouts here, 2 knockouts there, and a 5th knockout right there. Clearly, this is where Freedom's elite stalkers were. They just weren't pushed in at all. Oh. Now my nose is freaking out because I can't sneeze. Lovely. Now, I don't think these guys are coming to reinforce this attack. Maybe the BRDM is going. That is Granite, so they're down to 3 of their heavy hitters, but they might also just be recalled to the Bloodsucker Village instead. We'll know if they take a southern turn right here, but they might just be getting called to go to the Bloodsucker Village. That shows that Kevin doesn't have perfect information. He doesn't know that Blue 4 is just down to this force here. And I think with that early ass-kicking on Granite's team from the first anomaly site, he has every right to play this cautiously. Unfortunately, it means we're going to have a little bit more dead air. Got Nort here taking... I don't think he's taking suppressive fire. I think they're just firing up to where they see some stalkers. Isram there, for example, he wakes back up. And Duitson is just firing out whatever movement he can see with his little red dot. Yeah, that for tomorrow, Razor. Alright, so it looks like the... No, the truck turned south. And Granite's now coming in. I'm not sure if they have an RPG for this BTR, but the BTR is not going to be focusing in that direction. Alright, which way is the driver facing? Driver's watching right. Basano with the gun is also watching right. Oh, but the driver just saw the vehicle. They just completely outmaneuvered her. They don't have any AT, otherwise you would have saw a guy jump out. But they're pushing right into the zone. The combat honk. "20 minutes left, so both of the psi emitters have scored for Op 4. Op 4 sent a big chunk of reinforcements down through the truck. This could be GG. We had that other stalker out here get knocked out. That was Callie by that Blue 4 marksman. This guy, he even took his Siva helmet off, but he is the reason that Op 4 is not able to take that position. He's gotten so many knockouts across so many players here. I swear to God. Some of y'all need therapy. You need Jesus. You need something, all right? Stop looting the bloodsuckers. And if you do want to do that, go join scientists, get a degree, get a PhD in biology, and at least contribute instead of just writing random shit. Come on, you know better. Duitson still holding the line here. Manages to knock Marty out, who's already got 2 stalker kills to his name. But Freedom is holding. Looks like Command ran off with a truck with 2 more of the Freedom members here. BTR is also pulling away. This is leaving Killer J and Duitson to their deaths here as Monolith is now pushing them. We have an additional truck now coming in. This is HQ. One of the platoon groups now. So I think Op 4 is potentially trying to rush everything to this position to end the game. Blue 4 are able to pull some guys out, but even if Blue 4 takes this position, it would technically be a tie game at this point. It would be 2-2 and 1. Now, can Blue 4 tie it? I don't think so, because this group Theoretically, that group should be the one to dismount in here. But that gives Op4 20 minutes to take these guys out and then head back to the Bloodsucker village. You can tell Monolith's trying everything they got. They just put an RPG directly on them, but these barn walls are just too thick. Another one goes in, they shoot it in the other barn. And now you've got members of Platoon now coming in, exosuited. They're just pummeling this position with RPGs. They really want Duitson and Killer J gone. Here comes Monolith. Can't get a shot. But he gets hit a few times. RPG going by. God damn, this guy's untouchable. This is Duitson with that RPK. Grenades going everywhere. Now he's getting flanked. Wasn't able to get a shot on Neves there, and Neves drops him. That's an AKS-74. It's not a U model, though. Otherwise, Neves would have had him immediately dead to rights. And the other guy, Killer J, got taken out off camera. I think this was him because he did have a GL, and that position is now clear. Meanwhile, Blue 4, they have maneuvered 3 guys into the zone here. In our little Bloodsucker village. Op4 have done a far dismount to cover this position. Looks like they saw the BTR coming by because they do have an RPG on it. So this is pretty... No, the BTR hasn't left, but they definitely saw Blue 4 moving around in there. Here's my question. Is the BTR going to spot these guys? Because this is a fatal funnel at this... Oh, no. Oh, no. Monolith, what are you doing? Wait for it. You have to see him. Yeah, they're repositioning. Missed opportunity, but that was so close. We were this close to greatness. But once again, Monolith proving that the Wish Granter covers them. The Wish Granter knows all. A little bit of radiation going off on that zone. Probably don't want to be there too long. BTR now pushing to that position, and it looks like we are going to basically have to wait for Op4 to completely remount and push this zone, which is going to lead to at least a few minutes of downtime. Because these guys aren't going to assault themselves. They're going to wait for that group to come up. But it looks like they're remounting, and they're going to move quick enough here. The game ends in 15 minutes. But Op4, we already see them mounting up into trucks here, whatever transport they can find. We're going to have a very big truck now get out here, and we still have more stalkers coming up. Well, fuck you guys. Medics working on their own. At least they're picking up their dead and whatnot. I think they're coming up here to potentially grab this other truck, see if there's any of these wounded still alive. I mean, that marksman on Blue 4 got at least, with the bleed outs, probably 6 kills. It just wasn't enough. Op4 appear to be mounting some of their forces in a truck. I think they're just going to push everything into the zone and completely overwhelm it. But that is what Monolith does, doesn't it? Isn't it? And how we wait and see. Angel, I think the Bloodsucker just ate somebody. Based off of that screaming I just heard. Well, we still see the Freedom guys still alive, so, ooh. Anyway, Emil, as ground command, still here and ready to hold out. He has Jasper, that's the marksman, who has 4 credited kills, but it should be higher. Rodrigue with a kill and some AT, and then his BTR crew, Masano with 1 kill. And I believe this will be the driver, Fetty, with no kills, but, oh! Who knows that gun? It's been a while. But we haven't seen an AKS-74U Rampage in a while. I'm excited. Op 4 just going to charge everything in at this point. Blue 4 playing to tie, Op 4 playing to win. Can Monolith clean Freedom up? The answer is obviously yes. But hey, maybe they can survive. As we watch Op 4 slowly come into the zone. If they do a far dismount, though, that means this is going to be close. Because we have 11 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. And now we wait with bated breath. The blind dogs howl. And Monolith is now on a mission to finish what it started. They cut the engine early. They're going to glide right into town. Any bloodsuckers or Freedom members are shoot on sight. Let's see this wrap up. So the platoon leader gets an exosuit here, so they're going to now move in. We have Vanguard forces deploying early. We've got more reinforcements that deployed a bit far. Some guys still trickling in. I don't know. Freedom's equipped with 74 U's. This could change everything. We have the RPG guy getting out Rodrig. He wants to see if he can get an intercept. I don't know. Do you guys think Freedom has a chance? Except Archangel. He's going to say yes because he voted for them. Shots go out. Hard to say at what direction, but it looks like... Oh, it was a Monolith member getting a knockout on Jasper. Jasper was the one guy that was getting pretty kill heavy, so if he's down now, I think this is... Oh, someone else is getting shot to shit over there, but this is the beginning of the end. I think Rodriguez looking for a noob tube kill here. Monolith have now stolen the BTR. RPG goes out, misses. Op 4 now pushing the position. Rodriguez killed. Jasper still down. That grenade potentially will double tap, but it rolls far. Blue 4 down to 3. That's one double tapped. That's the other double tapped. AK-74U, let's go. You completely missed through the... No, you're supposed to use your gun. Granted, the grenade gets a double tap, but you had the best weapon in the game. Joking, of course. Meanwhile, I think Fetty... I don't know if he just got a kill or was able to push someone away, but... It's just up to Command in his exosuit. That grenade got completely misthrown and ended up in a dish. I guess it hit a... what's it called? Springboard anomaly and just flew away. You got the exosuit, make it work, and you get knocked out and double tap by the other guy. All right. Can Fetty, with his AKS-74U, the best weapon in the game, channel in his inner Audrey Hotto Strelok and complete the match? Let's find out. The answer is no. All right, Monolith are going to win. The final point score is going to be, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to... I think 3. And I'm right. All right. GG, everybody. GG. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will be back at 8 p.m., aka in a little under 3 hours. Thanks so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers, and have a good one.
Are you incapable of living a normal life after your 3rd deployment to Pakistan? Do regular military units consider you to be psychologically unfit for continued service? Or are you just tired of scavenging the deep crusty corners of the internet for more pictures of your waifu? Then Stillwater Security Solutions is the company for you. Based out of a surplus Chinese landing ship, Stillwater Security Solutions is a group made up of players that no longer find entertainment in playing Arma in the usual ways. With us, you, the players, are responsible for choosing contracts, managing company and personal finances, interpreting intel, and conducting operations. We even have a super autistic spreadsheet that rivals the likes of EVE Online in levels of autism. This spreadsheet helps us run the in-game economy and track gear across every contract. We are not a milsim. You don't even need to fill out an application to play with us. We are currently looking to hire literally anyone that is 18 up, has an IQ above room temperature, and the ability to operate multiple individual weapon systems. General contractors are always welcome, but areas in direct need for applicants are the following: pilots and aircrew. These operators need to be supported from the sky. From gunships to cargo planes, all manner of methods are required for keeping still water in the air and over there. Don't worry about navigating ground fire, most of our helicopters crash from terrain impacts. The bar is not high. Medical station. Our hard-working combat lifesavers work tirelessly to keep contractors like you from the bottom bunk of a gravestone. Headed by former EMS and paramedics, our medical staff is well trained and equipped to keep soldiers of fortune up to date and in the know on how to save and be saved in combat.
Why does the IFAC packing list have 4 tourniquets? If I personally need 4 tourniquets, the only intervention I need is divine or copper jacketed.
If you get sent a random video from these guys, don't watch it. You're not missing out. Field support services. They say infantry is the queen of battle, but somebody has to pamper that bitch. Field support is always standing by to operate all necessary equipment and reinforce every position possible. Mortars, artillery, tanks, and fortifications make field support the force multiplier for taking home a victory in the modern mercenary landscape. Stillwater Security Solutions, the best in class for mercenary work around the globe. Apply now.